Hare Krishna. So Krishna is speaking about the vision of the person who can see things as they are. So we continue in Śloka number 30 also. Prakratyaiva cha karamani kriyamanani sarvashah yah pashyati tathatmanam akartaram sapashyati. So here again Krishna is saying yah pashyati, one who can see what? Prakritya eva cha karmani kriyamanani sarvashah, one who can see that all the activities, that is sarva karmani, all the activities are performed by whom? Prakritya, kriyamanani prakritya, performed by the body, which is created by the material nature. And tatha atmanam akartaram, and sees that self does nothing. The individual soul is the non-doer. Saha pashyati, he actually sees. Now this verse is a googly verse, and it's very nice to understand this verse, which will give us more clarity about the soul and the body. Now here, this point is made that whatever activities are done, those activities are done by this body, and this body is created by whom? By the material nature. And when it comes to the individual soul, is he taking part in the activity? No, he is not taking part in the activity. Now let's try to understand this. This is a pretty complicated subject matter, but if we understand this, it will help us a lot to advance in Krishna consciousness. Here it is said that this body is made by material nature under the direction of the super soul. And whatever activities are going on in respect to one's body are not his doing. Whatever one is supposed to do, either for happiness or for distress, one is forced to do because of the bodily constitution. Now this is very nice to understand that how do we get this body? We get this body through our past desires. So based on our past desires and past activities, this body is awarded to us or given to us by the material nature under the direction of the Supreme Lord. Now those desires which were there in the past, those desires will be fulfilled, or the living entity can try to fulfill those desires using this body. Now as soon as we accept this body, what happens? The living entity is going to desire now. So body will start working. Now I'm not saying that living entity is making it work. I'm just saying that body starts working. Now what does it mean? Let's try to understand. The spirit soul is the superior energy of the Lord, it's higher. And material nature is the inferior energy of the Lord. So superior energy, inferior energy. So now this material nature that is there, that creates the body. And we have discussed this elaborately, that this body is made up of 24 elements, starting with the Pancha Mahabhuta, earth, water, fire, air, ether. So this body is material. There is no question of this body being spiritual. This body is material. So the material body, it is working, or it has to work under the laws of material nature. So the three modes of material nature, Sattva Guna, goodness, Rajo Guna, passion, and Tamo Guna, ignorance, all these three modes act on this body. Now what can the living entity do? The living entity can only desire. So the living entity will desire, whatever desire it might be. It might be a good one, it might be a filthy one, whatever it is. That desire, which is manifested by the living entity, to fulfill that, the three modes of material nature will start acting. And the body will start working accordingly. So this body will actually give the distress or happiness. It's not the soul who actually experiences. Soul doesn't have anything called as distress. It's always full of happiness. But now the soul is so much attached to the body that it starts thinking that it is body. And this body is going to work according to the constitution that is given. Like for example, when the person is born deaf and dumb, now even if he wants to speak, he cannot, right? Because the body is awarded like that, right? If the person is born blind, he wants to see but he cannot, because the body awarded is like that. Now a dog, maybe it might want to talk to its master in the language which the master speaks, but can it talk? No, because the body awarded is like that. So based on the past desires, the person gets past desires and activities. The person gets certain type of body, and all the happiness and distress are given by that body. And the body works in accordance to the way the three modes of material nature make it work. Then what does soul do? Soul is just seeing. Soul is seeing all the drama. Because soul has desired. He has just desired and he is seeing the drama. It's almost like, we pay and we get into a movie theater, and what are we doing? We're sitting. And then in front of us everything is happening. Do we have control of anything? When the hero is killing the villain, so can we jump from the chair and stop? That's exactly what happens. We have desired, we have paid. That's equivalent to paying. So we have desired, we enter the theater. We have entered this body. Now three modes of material nature start the movie. Something is happening. And then we are just a spectator and we have no control over it. Our only control is the desire. But you know what? Our desires are very contaminated. And because of this contaminated desire of sense gratification, when we think about it, when we desire for it, and when the material nature starts moving our entire body and start working, what happens? We start getting all the distress and maybe sometimes a bit of happiness. So these desires have to be fulfilled. Here it is given that practically speaking, the body is a machine designed by the Supreme Lord to fulfill desires. Because of desires, one is put into difficult circumstances to suffer or to enjoy. So this is the point that has to be understood very clearly. So this desire has to be purified. All the time we desire for what? I want to enjoy, I want to enjoy, I want to enjoy. How? Separate from Krishna. This separate from Krishna is implicit. We don't say it, but that is already there. Because when we think of enjoying ourselves, it means we want to enjoy separate from Krishna. So what is devotional service now? Devotional service is that activity which transforms our contaminated desires to a different platform or different level of purified desires. In the contaminated desires, or in the contaminated state, our contaminated desire is I want to enjoy. In the purified state, our pure desires are I want to serve Krishna. These are two different extremes. And devotional service is so powerful that it takes the person from one end and it places places on the other end. So we have to purify our desires. We have to. Or else it will be very difficult. Because we will go through the sufferings, distress and everything, and we'll have no control over it. And I'm sure all of us have experienced that whenever any distress comes, suffering comes, we have no control at all. No control at all. Why? This is the reason. Very clearly Krishna is telling this in Bhagavad Gita. This is how practical the Bhagavad Gita is. So when we understand things, then we can see, when we understand that some disease is there and we understand where is the root, then we can work on the root. That's what Bhagavad Gita gives us. It tells us what is the root, what is the problem. And then, hearing that, then we have to start working on the problem. So every single day when we are chanting, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, the transformation is taking place. Transformation of contaminated desire to pure desire is taking place. With every single Mahamantra it is happening. Maybe we will not be able to experience immediately, but with time, with years of chanting, we'll be able to experience that how my contaminated desires are now changed to pure desires. And even that pure state, when by mistakenly, because of past samskara, when we get some contaminated thought, desire, at that time we start spitting at that thought that why am I thinking this at this point of time? This will be the transformation that will take place. The same contaminated desire which we were enjoying some point of time in our life, now we start spitting at that thought of desiring something like that. Now whoever sees this, a person who sees this, that no, the body is working, not the soul, such a person is actually seeing. This is what Krishna is telling in this shloka. He continues the same theme to tell us more elevated vision of the person who is seeing things as they are. So let's continue seeing these different verses in the next video. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna